Jennifer Murtazashvili is the director of the Center for Governance and Markets at the University of Pittsburgh. She joins us live now from Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. Jennifer, it's good to have you on the News Hour. Thanks for your time. When we look at what's happened over the last 24 hours, Russia now taking Luhansk, does it seem that this conflict at this stage could be turning in favor of the Russian forces?
I think we have to be careful of making such assessments right now. We have to look at this as a long conflict. That's what's taking place. And so making large assessments after one battlefield victory, I think, is a mistake in this conflict. We can look back, at the spring and draw very, different conclusions about the trajectory of this conflict. Obviously, it's not good for Ukraine, but this is something I think that many anticipated, that Russia would make its full press in these areas. And I think this is actually just the very beginning of this conflict for Ukraine. What it means for Russia is very different. And so, we heard these reports that Russia is going to sort of take a step back and retool. Can Russia sustain this battle over the long haul? And I am not convinced that it can.
Why are you not convinced that Russia can?
Well, if we look at the battlefield losses that it has incurred, they're quite significant. They want to take a break. They wanted to sort of take a step back and evaluate what has happened. I think there's time yet for the public in Russia to react to what's happened. We haven't seen much in that regard. Russia has taken vast casualties, and I think it's still early for us to say one way or the other about where Russia's going with this. But I'm not convinced that Russia will be able to sustain this. And if we also take into consideration that many of the weapons, they're still coming in. Yes, many have arrived, but the funds for reconstruction are also still coming to Ukraine. So I think this is the very beginning of a prolonged battle.
And how concerned do you think Moscow is about other countries, namely Sweden and Finland, Finland being right on that Russian border? Security concerns from Moscow about them now joining NATO and possibly using that as a pretext for any sort of conflict with those countries?
Absolutely. I think Russia is very concerned about this. Instead of weakening NATO, this conflict has actually strengthened it. Obviously, we have to be on the lookout for Russia using interventions as a pretext to entice those other countries to get involved with what's happening here. But these are some of the strongest economies in the world, and Russia is facing sanctions. I think the effect of those sanctions is just beginning to be felt. So this is why I'm less confident in Russia's ability to endure this in the long haul. It's now found itself even more isolated among its neighbors than it was just 2 or 3 months ago.
Jennifer Murtazashvili, really appreciate your analysis on this ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Thank you so much.